Now, I don't think many of us had really checked much into this. I don't think many of us really believed a lot of it. So I don't think many of us paid attention to it. But this was like breaking news to me. I was like, well, I be damned. This Negro's crazy. Crazy. Now for those of y'all that got Showtime, because I think that's what it appeared on first in January 2022, y'all probably done already seen it. But I ain't got Showtime. I got Prime Time, Amazon, Prime Video. And I just recently saw the documentary film, or whatever it is, called We Need to Talk About Cosby. Oh my God. Have y'all seen it? This is news to me. Breaking news about Mr. Bill Cosby. If y'all ain't seen it, check it out. It was put together by this guy. I think he's a comedian. His name is W. Kamau Bell. I know I'm saying his name wrong, but anyway, he put the thing together. He did all these different interviews with like journalists, comedians, commentators, and some of the women that were in situations with Mr. Bill Cosby, and it's very mind-blowing. And it's not a whole thing of just bashing Bill Cosby, because it does talk about a lot of good things he did for black people, for black actors, for black stunt people. He played a big part in bringing black stunt doubles to Hollywood. They say when he started the show I Spy in Hollywood, that at that time they was using white stunt doubles to be stunt doubles for black actors and actresses. And Bill Cosby played a big part in them starting to hire black stunt doubles, because he refused to have a white stunt double play for him. They said he told him, I know there's somebody black that can be a stunt double for me. They also have the guy that was his stunt double for I Spy, who started as his stunt double. They have an interview with him on there. And he said from like 1950s to the 1960s, they used white stunt doubles for black actors. They would paint them black. Because there's this actress, Gloria Hendry. She was the first woman of color in the James Bond's movies. And they actually used a white man as her stunt double in that movie. That's what she said. They painted this white man in black makeup and used him as a stunt double for a female black actress. So yeah. So Bill Cosby, they say, played a huge part in bringing black stunt doubles to the movies. So they do give Mr. Bill Cosby a lot of accolades in this documentary called We Need to Talk About Cosby. But it's just so, it's a trip, y'all. I'm telling y'all need to watch it, because it's amazing how almost like he was hiding in plain sight. And he was like telling off on himself in shows like The Cosby Show. He was telling what he was doing. Like in some of the shows, in his scripts, he's saying stuff like what he was actually accused of doing. And it's a trip that in the show he was a doctor. But what kind of doctor he was? He was a gynecologist. The doctor that looked at cooches for a living. Yeah, he was a gynecologist, and they showed this one episode where he jokes about this barbecue sauce that he makes and how it makes adults just, frisky and wanna, And then the little boy that played Bud, I think Rudy's friend, he goes to grab some of the sauce and he go to snatch it from him and say, don't you drink that light. That's the sauce I use for the adults. Then of course everybody knows that he did stand up talking about the famous Spanish fly. And this had kind of all been public knowledge, but nobody had really paid it attention. But y'all know what? A lot of people in Hollywood already knew what Bill was doing. But it wasn't really just out there like that. It was out there, but we weren't paying no attention. Then they talk about how the comedian Hannibal Buress did stand up on it and put it on blast, and social media just hopped on it. I don't know, I didn't like, nor did I dislike Bill Cosby. I was a fan of the Cosby Show, and I was a fan of Fat Albert when I was growing up. But far as being a fan of Bill Cosby, I don't know, he just never, you know, like an actor that like I'm like attracted to or something like that. It was always something about him. I don't know, I just didn't see him that way. He was just, to me, Bill Cosby. Plus, he was much older than I was, so he was a little bit before my time. So, but I was always attracted to older men. He just wasn't an older man that I was attracted to. For some reason, he wouldn't. But I was a fan of the show. I didn't dislike it. But it was just, I don't know, something about him. Don't know what it was. But yeah, Bill Cosby allegedly had been doing that for a long time. Long time. Since like the beginning of his career. Putting the pills in women's drinks and making them pass out. And what I noticed, what was common with most of the women, other than most of them being white women, another thing that was common is like as they felt they was passing out or like almost, you know, didn't have no control over their bodies, he would shove his tallywhacker in their mouths and make them pleasure him orally. A majority of them had that same story. And when this first came out, I didn't really pay much attention. I don't want to say I didn't care, but when it came out, he was so old, and I was like, probably thinking like everybody else, you know, why they wait so late to come out with all this now? The man is almost about to check up out of here. I was just like, why now? But it really hadn't just came out then. It had been out, but the documents were just sealed. We just didn't know about it. Y'all know Hollywood, they keep each other's stuff on the hush hush. So a lot of people in Hollywood knew, they just weren't saying nothing. So I didn't think much about it. Plus I thought, when I saw it on TV and all those women was coming out, the first thing I thought was like, okay, now all these white women coming forth, you know, bring this black man down. Okay, what is it? Then they talked about him wanting to buy NBC, which I didn't really think that had nothing to do with it. I just thought, you know, it's just another black man that they gonna, you know, taint his name and his character before he leave up out of here. Then Beverly Johnson came out and said something about it. So I was like, wait a minute. But I almost thought, I kind of thought, okay, this could be true. And because most of them, or all of them that I thought except for Beverly Johnson were white women, I thought that maybe this is something Bill Cosby like did just for the purpose of, you know, because back in the slave days, the slave masters, they, you know, would sleep with the black slave women and have their way with them at will, and then going on about their business, send them on back to their husband after they do whatever they want to the women, make the women do whatever they want to them. So I was kind of thinking that maybe that was Bill Cosby's way of getting back at white men for what they did to, you know, our black women. So he used his power and fame to take advantage of white women, which didn't make it right to me, but in my mind, I thought maybe that was his mentality. I just thought it was something he had against white people, was the reason why he was doing it. So I just thought that if he did it, it was like something he was doing to get back at, white men or white people. They were not all white women. There were a few mixed race women. I think one woman they showed she looked, just African American. But they were all the ones I saw were either white or biracial. And the couple of black women that they showed were light-skinned black women. But still, a majority of them were white women. And do y'all know that when they was filming the Cosby show, they had a specific section for Bill Cosby? They would sit all these models in this section, and they would pick a model to go to this room or whatever to meet with him so he could mentor them. He was mentoring them, all right. He was straight up taking it, getting it from these women. How so many people knew, and they brought these women there on the show in the audience to sit in this special section for that purpose. Now this is what I didn't understand. Now to me, these are the strange similarities between Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. They were both rich and famous men. Both nice looking, rich and famous men. Both of them, in my opinion, could have had as many women as they wanted. Women that would have willingly gave them some. Women that wanted to give them some. I mean, in my mind, I think half of those women that Bill Cosby allegedly assaulted, half of them probably would have just gave it to him. He was Bill Cosby. R. Kelly, now R. Kelly wasn't my time. I would have gave R. Kelly the coochie. Baby, when that song came out, Slow Dance, hey, Mr. DJ, why don't you slow this party down? Baby, I was ready to give R. Kelly the coochie. I hope ain't none of my family watching this. If y'all is, don't comment on my video so I can say what I want to say. But yes, I was in love with R. Kelly when that song came out. Me and millions of other women that would have willingly gave him relations. Willingly wanted. All he had to do was sing. Oh yes, honey, I love me some R. Kelly. When his album 12 Play came out, OMG. That whole CD, if I knew I was having a gentleman over, 12 Play was on. Because that was the whole CD that you could, if you didn't know how to move while you're in your groove, oh, you put 12 Play on. And if you could dance, oh, you just dance while you, yeah, 12 Play would help you out. So yeah, I was just shocked. R. Kelly wanted the, the little girl relations. He didn't want really adult women. He preferred little girls. And Bill Cosby didn't want women that were alert and preferred women almost unalive, deceased. Because most of the women, they say, after him dropping the pills and telling them to drink the drink, they woke up with their clothes off. They didn't recall what had happened. So they were not willing participants in Bill Cosby's alleged acts. So they were like, sleep. So he preferred taking it from women that seemed unalive, deceased. They couldn't kiss it back, couldn't throw it back. That is disturbing to me. You know, normal men, when they get an erection, they want somebody that's going to be able to, you know, give it back, participate back with, you know. But those women woke up not knowing what had happened. Some of them said they felt like afterwards that they had been inserted. So it's almost like they were inserted in their sleep. So those are some strange things about Bill Cosby and R. Kelly to me. R. Kelly wanted little girls, which is not too uncommon because a lot of old men prefer much younger women. Some of them prefer women as young as their own daughters. So the thing with R. Kelly is not right, but it's not shocking to me. It's shocking to me because of him just being who he was, and he could have had anybody, any woman he wanted. Because a lot of us wanted R. Kelly. But before that, like, what's the girl named Azriel? Talking about she had to eat doo-doo and pee-pee now. Now that's sick. Now that's just cuckoo crazy. But a lot of women wanted R. Kelly and would have threw themselves at him. So I don't know why he just didn't want to. Well, he had a few grown-up women, but why didn't he just prefer grown-up women that would have been at his beck and call? You know, I don't know, y'all. It's crazy. But yeah, the similarities between R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, weird. And also, when I watched that documentary thing, a lot of those women that say they were around the set of the Cosby Show, most of them said that, or that were around Bill Cosby a number of times, most of them said that they never saw his wife Camille. And some of these acts allegedly took place at his home, him and Camille's home, and she was not there. So a lot of them say they never saw her around. He invited them to his house to mentor or help them with their career, and Camille was never there. Where was Camille all that time? And nobody was never seeing her. But she popped up with them babies, you know, they had some children. But if y'all haven't watched that show, we need to talk about Cosby. And I know a lot of us think it's black bashing. It ain't. It's eye-opening action. It's eye-opening. It's shocking. It's really shocking. It's the way he used his power to just shut people up. All they had to do, if any male in the industry had something against him, all Bill Cosby had to do was make a phone call, and he could end that person's career. I think even D.L. Hughley said he was fired for some job for commenting about Bill Cosby R-ing women. Bill Cosby made a phone call, and D.L. Hughley said he was gone. And another comedian who is in this documentary, he's a professor at a college now. He did an article or something disagreeing with all the bashing that Bill had started to do in his latter years, the bashing he was doing about black people. He made an argument against that. Bill called the college, and they reprimanded him. Oh yes, R. Kelly. Oh, and it came out in the trial, did y'all hear? The little girl that wouldn't testify years ago, who's now a grown woman, is testifying now and say that her auntie Sparkle was the one that pimped her out to R. Kelly. Yeah. Told her to sit on his lap and tell him he should be her godfather while she was rubbing his head. Yes, Sparkle that had all the tears, boo-hoo crying in the documentary. Yes, Sparkle, the singer that was doing all the crying, talking about she was the first one to speak out against what R. Kelly did to her niece. She was the first person to give her niece to R. Kelly by telling her 14, 15-year-old niece at the time to sit on a 30-year-old man's lap and rub his head and tell him to be her godfather. Sparkle. Oh yes, the teenager that's now a grown woman is testifying. She telling it all. Word on the curb is, the only reason she testifying now is because when R. Kelly got locked up, they cut their money out. She's singing like a bird now, but of course she was a child when that happened, allegedly. So when it happened, it still wasn't her fault. It was that Sparkle and that young girl's mother and father. Because Sparkle took her to R. Kelly. And when her parents found out about it, they did nothing but just got paid from R. Kelly, allegedly. But anyway, y'all, yeah, those are just some two strange similarities between Bill Cosby and R. Kelly to me. Just, I don't know, y'all. I just don't know. I don't know. They always getting up when I'm making up.